Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another edition of the Shooters Lounge podcast. I'm your host, Matt at PostUp323. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. You can follow us on the socials at Shooters Lounge 3. And also, you can rewatch this on YouTube and also listen to us in podcast form on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also, hopefully, you'll be able to see a QR code in the top left corner if I've done this right. And you should be able to scan that and you can view all the links to our socials to keep up with when the next podcast is coming out. Tonight, guys, we have a returning guest, another friend of the podcast. Rumours of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. We have the returning Jord. Jord, what's happening, bro? It's good to see you again, dude.
Good to be here, mate. Good to be here. This is when you know that the NBA's back, when the weather starts cooling down, and I get a DM from Matt saying, "Oh, I'm doing a podcast this week, mate. Do you fancy jumping on?" And I'm like, you know what? The season is well and truly back and underway. It's great to be here, mate. Thank you once again for having me.
Always a pleasure, dude. Always a pleasure. I'm surprised you wanted to come on with what's happening in Boston, but here you are. I have to give you the props for that one, bro. I swear you said to me a few months ago, I'm not coming on for a bit. I'm all right.
I actually had a really interesting conversation yesterday with one of my mates who's a Thunder fan, of all teams. And I just said, I was like, I'm so disengaged with this season. I don't care what happens because I already know that we've got no chance because of Tatum, and Brown's just Brown. So it's like, he's not going to be able to elevate, and he isn't elevating. So I'm like, well, I'm in the same position I thought I was going to be in. Why cry about it? Let's just enjoy some basketball.
Are you there, bro?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I got you. You went for a second, bro. Sorry.
So yeah, just enjoy it, man. Why dwell that we're not very good, because we aren't very good, and that's just a fact, isn't it? So accept it and move on.
just move on to that. Move on to the next topic. It's like having a sabbatical, isn't it? Just have a year out and come back next year, and all will be well.
Well, that's the way I'm treating it. I'm just like, it's not going to be like this forever. It's literally just this season. Get this season done and dusted, and then can start afresh as if it never happened next year.
All is forgotten, mate. Things can turn quick in the NBA, George. That's definitely something we can attest to, can't it? I think.
Oh yeah, well, we've seen it. You've seen it happen plenty, mate, haven't you? All the dead, and then all of a sudden everything happens, and then it's gone in an instant. And the championship 2 years ago, it's like that was done, and now all of a sudden, look where we are without our main man. But
a distant memory.
Hopefully, it won't be for too much longer. I know he's made, Tatum's made giant strides in his recovery and development and stuff. So.
Yeah,
there is a possibility that he's going to be ready to go after the All-Star break. However, I would be hesitant if we are looking like a dumpster fire to even risk it. If we're not in contention, it's not even worth the risk. Just sit the year.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it, bro. Because, like you say, I mean, if you're going to be a playing team, I mean, the winning a championship this year seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Regardless of how well Brown's playing at the moment, which he's made a very good start. You've been up and down with your opinion of Jaylen Brown, bro. He's started the season pretty well.
He has, but I think at the same time, like he thinks he's thought in the past that he can be the main man somewhere.
Yeah,
this is your chance to prove it.
Sure.
And when we've needed him to, he's put up the numbers, and fair play to him. I can't really take anything away from him. But is he elevating us enough that it doesn't matter about Tate? Obviously not, and that's unrealistic to expect him to do that.
Yeah.
So if he can just keep us in the hunt for now, then if we fast forward to February next year and we are competitive. Even if if we're floating around 500, then maybe if Tatum's ready, we go. We press the go button and go for it. But If not, then don't worry about it. I think he's certainly added to his CV because he's done better than I thought he was going to do. In fairness, I thought he was going to be sort of like 18, 20 points a night, and it wasn't going to be enough. But actually, he's averaging well above that. And obviously, he's had his own surgery, hasn't he? In the off season, he's had that knee finally sorted out.
We plagued him most of last year, bro, didn't it? So
and I think we're seeing the true Jalen, the real article with Jaylen Brown. He's a humble guy. Doesn't really say too much, and that's what I like in a locker room, man. That's how I like my locker rooms to look. I've got Josh Allen on the Bills, who's the exact same, very humble bloke, but unbelievable player. And Brown's another one of those. So I suppose I have been up and down, man. Don't get me wrong. He has had his frustrations, but I think as we're seeing this season, how much of that was actually due to the injury rather than just it being Jaylen Brown. Still can't play with his left hand though. That is a fact.
More work to be done, mate. Nobody's the finished article, bro, are they? That's for sure. But what was he averaging? 27 a night, I think.
27.2 a night, I think. When I checked earlier on. So
so not to be sniffed at. But like you say, being in the league for so long and having somebody as good, if not better, argument's sake, on your team, and then all of a sudden they're not there anymore. It's a very different outlook altogether, isn't it? But like you say, there's always been a whose team is it, which people love to debate these things, don't they? Whose team, who's the leader, and all that. Obviously, Brown winning the finals MVP and things like that. That's the kind of argument that people have. But you wouldn't have got there if it wasn't for both of them. Really, I think that's pretty safe to say.
No, I think obviously it was very telling. As soon as they won it was the conference finals game before the championship, and Tatum's literally on camera, straight in front of him, and he's saying to Brown, "They said we couldn't play together. They said we didn't like each other. Now look what we've done together."
Yeah.
I think this is it. We've always said, haven't we, bro? Like in loads of podcasts we've done before, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but clearly those two get on very, very, very well.
Yeah, but that was the narrative, wasn't it, at first, where, they don't like each other. And I don't know, the media, sensationalizes things, don't they, just to, get views and clicks and stuff like that. But like you say, I think they debunked that pretty well, didn't they, I
think that the only thing it is for those two, it's just the two different personalities. Like, Brown is very, very laid back, very quiet, doesn't speak unless he needs to speak. Tatum, although he's not the other extreme, he's not very, flashy and everything else. He's a lot more vocal. He's a lot more, he'll big himself up a little bit. Not to the extreme, but he will just sort of, in interviews and things like that, he'll big himself up. Brown doesn't do that. He's very much, even if he has an absolutely amazing game, he keeps it, quite under wraps almost. And I think that's the only thing, is that they're just different personalities, and people or the media have tried to make an argument out of it that isn't there.
Yeah.
And credit to both of them, because they've gone out and they've been like, you know what, we're not even going to talk. Watch what we do on the court, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah, they say silence all doubters, bro, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah. And that's the one thing that makes me happy about being a Celtics fan, is that we've got two of the most dynamic players that have got something different. They're not the same player. It's not like you've got two players that are good at the same things. You've got the only thing that they've got in common is that they're both elite at driving to the rim. But other than that, is that they just, that you trust them. You trust them with the keys to the team. It doesn't matter whose team it is. We don't need to have that argument.
No.
Let's just go out and have fun, and that's what they have been doing. So.
Yeah. But very different outlook this season, Jordan. Obviously, with losing Tatum, and also Drew Holiday leaving as well. Porzingis. Fan favorite Al Horford. It's a very different Celtics team, isn't it, to start the year, bro?
I think the only thing it was a shame to see Al go again, because I was hoping that he's got his ring that he deserves. But it's a shame he's not going to retire on the Celtics. But there were decisions that needed making, because it was unattainable to keep everyone together. I can remember having the conversation with you last year, mate, where we were like, they're not going to stay together forever.
No.
And I suppose in a sense, the Tatum injury has made that all a little bit easier, because then you can get rid of the guys and no one's going to really think about it, because it's like, well, we weren't going to do anything anyway. Let's restart at the end of this year when Tatum comes back and we have a full summer camp together. Then we'll make the alterations that need making.
Yeah.
I mean, like Brad Stevens is the man. He is the man. For me, he is one of he's like, in terms of GMs, he's right up there with like the moves he's made and things. He's a sensible bloke. He's one hell of a coach as well, isn't he, mate? People forget that.
Not bad, not bad.
But the work he's done in that office, I just think that says enough for me that he's calm and composed enough to know, let's just write this season off. And we'll start again next year, and I'm completely on board with that. I think he's the man that can steer the ship, and he's definitely, we're very fortunate that he's accepted that position and he's excelling in it.
I suppose the question really, Jordan, is if Tatum Manta got injured in the playoffs last year, would you have made those other moves? Kind of your trajectory gets changed, doesn't it? What Tatum's going to be out majority of the year, if not all year. Then everything changes, doesn't it? In that moment of the Achilles, your trajectory then for the next maybe 2-3 years have changed, haven't they, dramatically? I wonder would they have made them additional moves if Tatum wouldn't have gone down and you'd seen the season out? It's, I suppose, a question we probably can't answer, but what would you think, maybe?
I would just think that I would trust Brad Stevens with my life, the way that he's managed this team.
Trust with your life.
Genuinely think it's such a steady pair of hands that you don't see often.
No,
you've especially not seen this in Dallas, as we'll talk about very shortly.
It's going to come up, yeah.
But you've seen with the way that Brad Stevens he's very measured. He's not going to make any like drastic decisions that don't need making. And it's even like with the Holiday trade in the first place, like there was an opportunity there to get him, and he's thought, because bearing in mind, just going back to him obviously being the coach and stuff, he knows how these players play. He knows the system. He knows the team. This is not just like a GM that just gets brought in to do a job. He knows the move. He knows how everything works with the players, how they play on the court and everything else. And he's got that first-hand experience there. So it's a very fortunate experience. It's a very fortunate position for us to be in, to have him as the GM. And I think that's one thing that probably as a fan base we don't appreciate as much as we should. I know he's very well liked in the fan base as a GM, but I don't think people realise that he's good at what he does now because he's had that first-hand experience of doing it himself. So I'm still positive, man. Even though we're looking not great, which is to be expected, I'm still positive because I know this is just a temporary sort of lapse. Which is what everyone, I think all Celtics fans knew this was going to happen this year, and it's just one of those ones.
Yeah, newsflash, you're not going to be as good as you were last year. I mean, I think that's, like you say, going in, I think you kind of knew that, didn't you? It's, as a fan base and a franchise, for sure. And I think, having these new owners in, I think they were looking to maybe shed some salary as well from the cap, because you've been paying over the odds for a couple of years, haven't you? So, they've got to come through that as well. They want to make their own mark as well. Instead of it being somebody else's team, they want to make their own stamp on things as well, don't they? The Suns have had an owner who wanted to put his own stamp on things. Sometimes it doesn't work out, does it? You know what I mean? They take big swings sometimes. These guys, they're billionaires for a reason, aren't they? Because they've been successful in whatever field they've been in. And so they want to carry on, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. We'll wait and see with the Celtics, bro, I think, yeah.
I think the way that they're doing it's very, even with the owners, is that everything is, in spite of Tatum's injury, everything is now being a lot easier to make that transition period. There's no pressure on you to get results because everyone is understanding why we're not good this year, and that then allows you to have more time to make some of the changes that you want to do, and they don't get noticed as much because we're not one of those teams that's pitching for a championship, which means the media aren't going to be as loud, and the expectations of the fan base aren't there because they're understanding of what's going on. So it just helps everyone sort of have that transition and change with the times that you wouldn't ordinarily have got if everything was firing on all cylinders. So I suppose it is almost a blessing in disguise. in some instances.
Almost.
However, yes, Tatum being injured, that is terrible, and we all want to see him balling out on the court. That goes without saying. You just got to look for the silver linings, man, and I think that there are some there if you want to look for them.
Yeah. What bright points have you seen so far then? Because obviously some of these guys who probably may not have got minutes at all, or maybe weren't going to have many, have now been kind of pushed now into a bigger role. I mean, I think Pritchard's probably a great example now. He's like starting point guard now, which I don't think he would have been possibly if Tatum would still be around. So people have been pushed maybe into bigger roles, and some. Yeah, it's make or break, isn't it, mate? Sometimes you take your chance, and good things can come from that.
I think obviously with Pritchard, he's sixth man of the year, and now it's that normal trajectory, isn't it? People sometimes start out the career a little bit lower down the pecking order, or they're not getting the opportunities. They win sixth man of the year, and then everything opens up. I mean, James Harden's a prime example, isn't he?
Yeah.
I am not saying for the record that Pritchard is going to become James Harden, but
but you got
that's the kind of trajectory that you can then go. Well, you get deflected away from the main man sort of role, and then you win that role, and then it gives you the confidence then to come in as a starter and start contributing as a starter would. So I think that was obviously a big help for why he's been performing well this year. It's just, I think without Tatum, I think people are also noticing what an impact he has on defense. Because that's not obviously you take Drew Holiday out as well. That's like it's a double pronged what's the right? I'm trying to think of something without swearing, but it's like
you can swear if you want, mate.
It's a double pronged thing that means it demonstrates how poor the defense is. Taking both of them out, but I don't think people ever really appreciated how good a defender Tatum is. Because I know we've mentioned before, like me, you, and Adam, that he is a plus defender, but I don't think we've really recognised how much of a plus defender is. As when you take him out, it just changes everything.
Sure, no, absolutely.
He's definitely someone who's capable of guarding 1-3-5.
Yeah,
which you take that out, and all of a sudden we've not got that rotation player that can sort of mix and match and guard anyone coming forward. We don't have that now anymore because we've got no Drew Holiday, got no Tatum. You've got no one there that can be that free man that can float round and pick up whoever needs picking up.
Yeah.
That's one of the great things.
Yeah, I mean, you've still got Derek White, who's a very good defender, like you say. But yeah, you've kind of lost two, with two of the best kind of, perimeter defenders. That's for sure. But the kind of lack of centers, I think, isn't they, bro? The rebounding's an issue at the moment. I think this season, and playing a lot of small lineups, bro, aren't we at the moment?
I mean, I think apart from last year, that's been an issue that's plagued us for ages. Because I can remember the Bucks series in 23 where we obviously won the series in 7 in Milwaukee, but I know that I think it was game 4 or game 3 where there was 10 seconds left. We were winning by 1, and then we ended up losing because we could not. We failed to get a defensive rebound twice.
Yeah.
So shot went up. Missed the rebound, shot one up again, missed the rebound again, and then the Bucks scored.
Yeah,
that's been an issue that has plagued, I think, the Celtics for quite a while. It's just that it's more apparent now that we've got no real center because you lose Luke Cornett, you lose Al Horford, and you lose Porzingis. You've lost 3, especially Cornett with the rebounding. That's the biggest miss, and you can tell that he's not there because he would go in, he'd play, not play dirty, but he'd do the job that no one else wanted to do. He'd pick up 4 or 5 rebounds here and there. He'd get the ball moving. You take that out, that's a valuable contributor that you're missing. I think it's just it shows more clearly that we've got rebound issues when you take someone like that out, and I think he's a really underrated miss from that lineup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, I think you've only got 3 centers apparently on the roster. Luke Garza is one of them. Amari Williams, who's a rookie, and then Cater, who's your starting centre, which Cater's not a bad player, but
he's not, and he's another one that's had to earn his place. This is it. There's a few players in the lineup at the minute, or that have that are getting minutes that have had to earn their way there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think that therefore I would actually argue, even though it's not looking great, we're probably play like not necessarily with results, but we're playing better than I thought we were going to do without Tatum.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is a testament, I think, as well to Big Joe.
I think that's when you said in the summer you were like, "I'm not coming on talking about the Celtics," because I think you were quite worried on what the product was going to be. I think, which understandably so.
Even with that being said, mate, we're not getting blown out every game. Most of the losses have been close losses. It's not as if we're not competing. It's just
no, absolutely.
You just know how many results I could look at this season. I just think if Tatum was in this lineup, we'd have won this, we'd have won that, we'd have won that, we'd have won that one, and it's.
Yeah. What would you say then about Tatum? Would you like him to sit out the whole year now? Do you want to risk him coming back in March, April? What are your thoughts, bro?
I think it all depends where we are at that point. If we get there and we're like around 500 and it's looking like we can sneak into the playoffs, I think you roll the dice and you go for it. Because I think the belief and everything that will be in the camp that we can do this if Tatum comes back, that might inspire them to then play better. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't want to miss that opportunity. However, if we're approaching the time where he might be getting ready to go and we're like, I don't know, 25 and 35 or something like that, or 20 or 24 and 38, something like that, I would just be like, there's no point. Just leave it. We get a bit of a better, might get him a lottery. And then we can pick a draft. We can pick someone up. Tanking. It's immoral, isn't it? No one wants to tank unless your name's the Philadelphia 76ers. Had to get that job.
Fans definitely don't want to tank. It's an organisation decision, I think, isn't it? Fans don't want to see a team, just be.
I think even at the same time, we've never done that before. Like historically speaking, we have never tanked for anyone. So don't start that now. I think the new owners as well, they won't want their first sort of season to be like, oh, it's been a tanking season. So
going straight in like start. Yeah, we'll strip everything back, and not really a great place to start your tenure, is it? To be honest.
So I can't see that happening, and I think as well like the draft class that's upcoming looks really strong. But it's one of those where it's strong across the board. There's no real obvious, it's not like last year with the flag where everyone knew who was going to go first, and you knew the order of sort of the top 2 or 3, and then it was just sort of a mix and match for whoever you wanted after that.
Yeah,
this looks like the draft class where the first 7 or 8 picks are going to be really competitive, and if you get in that top 8, you're going to get a good pick, and you're going to get someone who can come in and contribute. Mm-hmm. That's a rarity. So. Although I wouldn't want us to tank, I would be quite content with us, taking our foot off the gas a little bit and getting inside that top 9, 10, 11, and potentially getting someone that can come in and be like a day one starter for us.
Yeah. The players aren't going to want to do that, though, are they?
They're not. It's not in the nature. It's not in the nature of Joe Mazzulla. It's not in the nature of the Boston Celtics. But if that does end up happening, am I going to be gutted? Definitely not. I think it. Again, silver linings and that, mate. There's an opportunity there for us to pick a useful asset up from this not very good season.
Well, with the East how it is, mate, it could be wide open because at the moment the Pistons are at the top of the East, which. I don't think a lot of people had that, first 15 games in, did they? So,
they didn't. But again, with the Pistons, are you surprised? Because I'm not.
Not massively. Not massively.
I'm not surprised.
Had a good year last year, didn't they? I'm surprised they're 13-2. I'll be honest.
If you want me to be honest, I think I'm surprised but not shocked.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where it's like, how on earth are they doing that? Because they've built on the foundations, they've trusted the process and everything else. You've got Cade that is absolutely balling. And they've got a good roster around him. So I'm not really that surprised that they're doing what they're doing. Like, 13-2 is amazing. And if you're a Pistons fan, you're like, wow, imagine being from Detroit, right? And you're a diehard Lions and Pistons fan, and they've both been dog shit for years and years, and now all of a sudden they're both really good at the same time.
Absolutely buzzing, aren't you? Absolutely buzzing. Like, because you've seen some shit at Detroit, haven't you? At the Pistons, man. My goodness. The last 10 years have been rough, haven't they?
I think this is it, because you see it in the NFL. People are actually happy for the Lions because they're like, those poor fans have had such a horrible time of it that I don't think there's anyone that's going to be disappointed if they win a Super Bowl, for example. And I think with the Pistons, it's probably going to be the same thing. If they all of a sudden turn into something that is a serious contender, I don't think you'll find many like fans of other teams around the league that will be annoyed or upset about it. I think it's like, you know what, you've endured enough horrible things and terrible seasons. You enjoy this one. And
you know you've been through some shit where other teams are like, you know what, I'm pretty happy for you guys because you've had it rough. Like, you've had it bad, haven't you, the last 10, 15 years.
Coming up to the playoffs, with obviously the way that this is sort of trending for us as a Celtics, I need to find a team to root for in the playoffs.
Okay. You're laying the groundwork now,
I'm quickly finding that may be the Detroit Pistons.
It might not be a bad shout, mate. Absolutely. But there's some other surprising teams up there. Toronto as well, third at the moment, 9-5, which I'm surprised at that one. I'll be honest.
But I think again, it's patient and good and sensible management of the team. It's the same thing as Detroit, and that's why I'm so happy with the Celtics that we've got someone that's in that position as well.
Yes,
you've got a steady pair of hands that can just guide the ship, and now all of a sudden. Everything starts flowing. The Raptors, I'm more surprised at than the Pistons, to be fair, because they don't have that one outstanding, like, he's the clear number one. There's no questions asked.
No, there's talent on the team, but it didn't really seem to make sense together with all the the people they got. But made a nice and decent start to the season. So
I think with the Raptors, man, they would, if they managed to sort of get in as like the 5th or the 6th seed, they would definitely smack in the face of a We Believe Warriors team.
Could be, mate.
Just a bunch of guys that have been thrown together and they've made something happen. So they definitely would give me that sort of vibe from them.
Yeah, We the North, all that marketing again, mate. Bringing out. That's what it is. Speaking of safe pair of hands. Last week, a GM was relieved of his duties, George. Mavericks firing Nico Harrison after, last year, shocking the world, making that big trade a year after making the finals. And apparently the owner of the Mavs had seen enough. Tough start for Dallas. I think how many have they won so far? 4 wins, 4-11. And Nico last week was shown the door. George, I know obviously we discussed a lot about the Luka trade last year. Were you surprised that Dallas made this move now? Was it made too late? Was it made too soon? You have the floor, sir.
Was it made too late? Is that a serious question that you've just asked me?
Hey, man, I've got to be partial. I'm going to try and be partial, bro. Come on.
This was made precisely. Can you just pull up, Matt, and find out what date Luka got traded? Because whenever that date was, that is how late it is.
I think it was the 1st of February.
So it is exactly 9 months and a few days too late.
2nd of February, excuse me.
Speaking of seconds, the second that he even proposed that trade to the front office or to the owners, he should have been sacked straight on the spot.
For even suggesting it.
For even considering and getting an actual offer in for him, he should have been booted out just for that on its own.
Yeah.
The Mavericks fans, you have my full sympathy because this has been horrible. And you've got Cooper Flagg that's come in and he is not performing at the level that we thought he was going to do straight out the gate. Don't get me wrong. I'm not criticising him too hard. He's a rookie. He's not played many games. It's understandable. But he is still performing, I think, Matt, below where we would have expected him to start.
Yeah. It doesn't help when you play him out of position as well, though.
This is true. But
yes.
you've got a man that has put his faith and trust in a 32-year-old Anthony Davis that is seemingly pulling the James Harden treatment, and just pounds on, who can never stay healthy.
Yeah.
And you wanted to have this man as the GM. This bloke who seemingly plays Madden, and he's won a few, not Madden, he's seemingly played 2K for a few years, and he's won a few championships, and he's bored, so he wants to make it hard for himself to win the next one. That's the mentality that he clearly came in with. He was that scared of Shams Charania that instead of actually getting a good deal for Luka, he decided to take the quick route and just call Rob Pelinka up, meet him for coffee, and let's just sort this trade out. It's no big one. It's just Luka Doncic. It's no big issue. Because he didn't want it to leak. That is the reason. No. That's a large reason for why Luka went for peanuts at the end of the day.
Yep.
Because the man didn't want it to leak. How can you have someone who's got no spine as your GM? He's got absolutely no balls whatsoever that he can just, I want to move on from him because I've got some personal issue with him. Clearly it's a personal problem that I want to get rid of him. But I'm also that much of a pussy that I can't have it leaking. So I'm going to have to take the shittest offer going.
Yeah.
I know we've talked to death about the Luka trade, bro. And if you look at the assets that LA have got, I would want every single first round pick that you have got available. I would want Austin Reeves. I would want all your young guys. They're all coming with us, and then you can have Luka. If they don't want to take it, okay, we'll keep him. It's not bad. It's not a bad thing, is it? Getting stuck with Luka Doncic. God, imagine how rubbish that must be to have him stuck on your team when you can't move him. That is what you do. You price him out of it so that. But for what? At the end of the day, though, the owners, they greenlit that. They had no issue with it, apparently. So you reap what you sow. And again, this is why I feel bad for the fans, because you have the most incompetent GM of all time in your front office who has traded away this is not a superstar. This is a generational player that we're probably not going to see again for another 15 or 20 years.
No.
You've traded him away for pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
And then you just sack the bloke that made the decision in the first place 9-10 months later. So I think this is them very belatedly saying, "Yeah, we messed up, guys. Oh, sorry. That was a mistake. Oh, how silly was that?" And they think that this is some sort of penance to the fans that we've like, well, we've fired him. You've so late, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous, and that poor team. That you had Mark Cuban at the wheel for ages, who was so passionate about this team, and he's given it away to villains, and they have ruined this team for the foreseeable future. It doesn't matter that you've got Cooper Flag. He is not Luka Doncic, and he never will be. His ceiling is not there. Yes, he looks like a very good prospect, but there's no replicating Luka Doncic. He's a one-of-one player. There's no comp there between the two. So it's so frustrating, man. But why have you fired him now? I think the firing him now after like 9-10 months have passed. This actually looks worse on the ownership.
Yeah.
It's like you knew he's messed up big time, and you've still just let him carry on for another 9 months.
I think they genuinely thought, mate, that the Luka thing would pass by, and eventually the fans would just move on. And there's still fire Nico chants right up until the day he was fired. They never. I don't think Dallas fans will ever get over it, mate. I don't think they'll ever get over it about how because like you hear rumors all the time, don't you? Before something happens, there's a rumored trade, or this come out of nowhere, didn't it? The Luka trade was just out of nowhere, and everybody just lost their minds, didn't they? Because you just hear things before they happen, don't you? There's a rumor this is happening, or this is happening, or somebody's on the trade block, or somebody's asked for a trade, or this was just completely out the blue. Now, if you feel you need to get a trade done quick because you don't want it leaking, then I think you need to look at why you don't want it getting out. Because if you're trading somebody like Luka Doncic, like why are you not offering it to everybody? Because people would want to trade for someone like that. And like you said, you'd have got a better return. It just made zero sense. And there's several things along the way here, mate. Like, Mark Cuban was meant to be still part of basketball operations, even when he sold the team or his stake in the team. And Nico chipped away at the ownership until Cuban was basically out on the outside looking in. And after the finals, I think Nico Harrison was so annoyed with Luka about his performances in the finals, not considering without him they wouldn't have been there, or he was playing injured in the finals, and you could see that he was. He just made his mind up that it was we're gonna get rid of him, or we're gonna move him, or what. And he got his. Sometimes you get like tunnel vision, don't you, man? You get laser focused on, I want this person, and he wanted Davis, and he made a laser focus on he wanted Davis, and he got in his mind.
I actually think, mate, that he could have acquired Anthony Davis and kept Luka Doncic.
Potentially.
He could have packaged loads of picks together, sent someone else, and got Anthony Davis without needing to give Luka Doncic up.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he would have got a king's ransom if he would have said that Luka Doncic is on the trade block.
He's available.
He's available.
Yeah.
They would have got a king's ransom from every single team across the league, barring the exception of maybe 3 or 4 that are already set up. I think my Boston Celtics probably would have been one of those that we're not in a position to acquire him, although we'd love to.
I think every team in the league, though, would look at how can we get Luka?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
But instead of doing that, you've done this on you've drawn this trade up on the back of a fag packet down a dark alley, and you've been like, oh yeah, just like let's just do it under the counter. Like it feels criminal almost. Like, but I say it again, those poor Mavericks fans. Yeah, I don't think you'd ever forget this till the day if you were a die-hard Mavericks fan.
Yeah,
and this is more of a slagging off to the ownership. How dare you think that in 9 months the fans are going to forget about it? They will not forget this for the rest of their lives.
Like they said, they drastically underestimated just how much Luka meant to the Mavericks or the fans, and you're like what? How would you just so out of touch or whatever? I think Nico said the same. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal.
Did they live in different plights for the rest of it?
Yeah, just things you just like, and you just keep saying defense wins championships, and you're just like, why? Things he said after the trade as well has annoyed the fans as they've gone. Like it's how they reacted after as well is just it just begs belief, really. Playing devil's advocate, though, you haven't seen all this team together yet because obviously Kyrie's out till, I don't know, similar to Tatum, maybe later with the torn ACL. You haven't seen Davis and Kyrie together with them guys, with Cooper Flag, but this is just how it's gone. And I think getting Davis is, that's the worry that you have with a player like Davis. When he is playing, fantastic player, but how often is he going to be out there? He got injured in his first game for the Mavs. He got injured in the first game. He didn't even finish his first game. It's stuff like that.
Just playing devil's advocate to your devil's advocate. You knew this when you brought both Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis in. You knew that they were prone to sitting games out, that they were prone to missing a lot of time.
Yeah.
And you still brought them in. You knew all this ahead of time. It's not like this was some big secret and then they got there and it's like, oh no, they've got loads of injury history. This was blatantly obvious to anybody who had a pair of eyes.
Yeah.
And you still did it anyway.
Yeah.
Like it annoys me, and I am not a Dallas Mavericks fan. If I was a Mavs fan, I would be genuinely. This would keep me up at night for about 5 years.
Yeah,
it's just such a gigantic mismanagement that I don't think all the time in the day, bro, couldn't give us enough time to discuss how drastic of a mess all of Nico Harrison and the ownership group's making.
Yeah,
that they're never going to recover from. They will never recover from it.
No. No, it's a crazy. I mean, I hope Palinka's rang Nico Harrison this past week and gone, yeah, sorry for that, bro. I fleeced you on that one. What's the text exchange with the Nico Harrison and Rob Palinka?
If I was Nico, I'd be like, Rob, seriously, I'm unemployed at the moment. I need a job, so you better get me in there.
You better get me a consultancy job somewhere, mate. But
because this is the one thing that people have forgot about. Rob Palinka was on the hot seat for a very, very, very long time in LA.
Probably saved his job.
Nico Harrison has got himself sacked and also kept Rob Palinka's job for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just
if you're Nico though, mate, this is the first line of your bio, isn't it? This trade is going to be the first line of your Wikipedia, isn't it?
For the rest of the time.
For the rest of the time. I mean, do you think he'll get another job again in the NBA?
Who's the most stupid team in the NBA?
If anybody, it's Sacramento, isn't it? I mean, come on. Sacramento, he get a job there.
Because obviously now he's going to have the reputation as being a radical GM. So whoever really needs an overhaul and desperately needs
we need somebody with big ideas.
Well, they will hire him. It'll either be Sacramento or my pick will be the Brooklyn Nets.
Fair. I mean, Sam Hinkie never got another job after Philly.
And I mean, realistically, he did his best to set him up. Like Sam Hinkie's, he looks like God next to Nico Harrison. That is how bad a job that Nico's done. That Sam Hinkie's looked at as the best GM in existence next to you.
Wow, the bad GM summit. That'd be a good one, I think, wouldn't it? David Kahn, I think, would be in there. Couple of other guys.
The only thing with Sam Hinkie is that he was a very negative person, clearly a very negative person to have tanking for the amount of time that they did.
Yeah.
But at least there was some foresight that this is going to be awful for years. And he was straight up front about it. This will be terrible for years, but it will be worth it in the end. Nico Harrison has just gone, I've done this. And enjoy. There you go. Have fun. Sam Hinkie was self-aware enough to know that his approach was going to rattle people, and he knew full well that it would.
Yes, this is not going to be good. I'm doubling down, kind of thing,
But Nico just clearly lives in Disneyland and thinks that this is all going to be fine and that no one's going to care. And
he still thinks he's right. I don't know. It could have been a lot worse if they didn't get the number 1 pick.
But I mean, this is the thing. Even to caveat that still doesn't make it good.
No, absolutely. But it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse.
Could be a lot worse if Adam Silver didn't, manipulate the ping ball.
I was doing some reading today, obviously, because this is kept going on, and talking about the power struggles going on between Cuban and Harrison at the start. As soon as Cuban. When he sold the team and things like that. And people applaud Nico for the moves that he made to what got them to the finals, getting in Gafford and Washington as well. Them moves wouldn't have happened if the first idea of the trade that Nico come up with didn't fall through, which was getting Kyle Kuzma. They were going to give up 2 first-round picks for Kyle Kuzma, and Kyle Kuzma vetoed the trade. He didn't want to go. So the 2 moves that he was commended for was not actually his first idea. So, you start reading things now and you just like, this just gets better and better. Absolute madness. Oh, and also I read this today that, they put the season tickets up as well in the summer. If you're gonna piss the fans off even more, it's one way to.
You might as well just go for everything. The only thing that would make this even worse, Matt, is if they said that they were relocating.
Yeah, well,
which as we spoke about is a very real possibility, and it is the popular theory that this has all been done.
Oh wow!
To alienate the and I think this firing just does even and with what they've said around why when they fired him.
Yeah,
is that this is just it's more fuel for the fire, isn't it? That that is why they're doing it, because they want to alienate the fan base entirely, that they can then turn around to the NBA and be like, we've lost the fans, we're never going to bring it back, we don't want to sell it, it's our team. We're going to move him to Texas.
Yeah, or Vegas, where they made all the money.
Vegas, sorry. We're going to move him to Vegas.
Yeah.
Don't worry about expanding the draft and expanding the organization, because I know money's tight at the moment. We will put a team in Vegas for you.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Pushover Adam Silver is going to say, "Oh, right, thanks a lot. That's really good. That we'll give you the first round pick. We'll give you the first pick in next year's draft just for doing that. Thank you very much."
Oh, yeah, I'll never forget Nico's smile when they got the number one pick, mate. It was like he was the absolute genius and orchestrated it all. Just mate, it's just brilliant. Absolutely,
He probably did, because when he was drawing this trade up on his fag packet down this back alley, I bet Adam Silver was there as well, and he's like, "Yeah, do that, mate, and we'll help you out in the next draft. You'll get the first pick."
I mean, I'd have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he phoned Rob Pelinka and said, "Doncic is available and you're my first call." I mean, just they're the kind of things you just wish you'd be there for and got to see in real time, because like I said, it was just so out the blue. The whole trade was just out the blue. Nobody saw it coming. One of the best players in the league on his day was just scary. And everybody started shitting themselves because they think, well, if Luka can be traded out the blue, I'm double. Hang on, I need to find out if I'm okay, kind of thing. And which I think Anthony Edwards said as much after the trade. He was like, "Man, I'm not going to be traded, am I? I'm going to have to check in with the GM, see if everything's okay."
Yeah, but this is it, isn't it? It's like, well, everyone around you knew that this was an awful idea. It almost smacked us. It was one of those situations where it's like, everyone else must be wrong. I'm right. Everyone else is wrong.
Yeah.
No, they aren't. And this is the most obvious reality check of all time. It's like, well, no, you knew this was going to happen, and for some reason you insisted on doing it anyway. And now you've got the first overall pick, but everyone still hates you. There must be a reason for that. Oh yeah, I traded Luka Doncic once. That was that was me. I did that. Oh right, okay, yeah. Well, there's the door. Get out.
Yeah.
For me, if I was ever fortunate enough to win the Powerball and the National Lottery and the Euro Millions all in one go, and I had enough money to buy an NBA team, if someone brought me the proposition of trading away Luka Doncic from my own team, I would have fired them on the spot.
Just for the question.
Just for even suggesting that we think about doing it.
Yeah.
Get out. There's the door. You're fired.
Get out.
I would trust my 13-year-old cousin more than I would trust Nico Harrison to run an NBA team, and that is not even a joke. He's played enough 2K. He knows how the GM office works. He can do that job.
Oh dear! Ouch! Very ouch! It's well, there's the Mavs. So the applications are open. We do have a resident GM John. Hopefully, he's chucking his name in the ring for this one.
He should do better than him.
Well, hey mate, if this is the criteria, then GM John would do a stellar job, I think, with all his wealth experience of the trade machine. I think the trade machine would have turned down this trade, wouldn't it? I think that's the thing people were laughing at, weren't they? They were putting screenshots of the trade machine for this Luka trade, and like, look, this doesn't even. You can't even do it on here.
The man's a moron. That's the short and bottom of it. He's a bloody moron.
Well, he's going to have to answer for it now, mate, because this is the first line of his bio. So I don't know how you explain this one in meetings, mate. He'll be on Amazon Prime soon, analysing stuff. I don't think Dirk will let him on. I think Dirk was very unhappy. I think he made his feelings quite known about what they did to Luka, and kind of blindsiding him like that.
I think the thing with Dirk is the man's middle name is loyalty. That is Dirk's middle name. He turned down a shitload of money to stay in Dallas because he was so adamant that he was going to stay on the same team for his whole career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and you have got the man's signature swish on your court. He is royalty to anyone who lives in Dallas, who's not even connected with the team. He is Dallas royalty.
Yeah,
And you have then, not only have you rubbed him up the wrong way, you have taken someone that he has mentored since he first got on the team, that he's very close friends with away from basketball.
Yeah.
And you've shipped him to, of all places, the fucking Lakers.
Just happened again,
I
didn't it?
wonder why he's not very happy. You have sent him to get mentored and coached by LeBron James, who Dirk Nowitzki famously took that shot from when they were in the final from him and Dwayne Wade, that he's not on very good terms with. He's not a big LeBron fan. Again, mate, spoiler, breaking news. He's not a massive fan of LeBron James. You've then given him to LeBron. Just the disloyalty, the stab in the back. I think it also goes as far as you've stabbed your greatest player in the back. The greatest Maverick to ever wear the uniform. You've stabbed him straight in the back, and you've just completely alienated him as well as the rest of the fans, which is an even more reason to just move him out of Dallas and send him somewhere else. But you have, I just say that's the. I think that's the bit. I'm glad you brought that up, mate, because I think that is the worst part of all this. It's that you've done this to Dirk. That everyone loves Dirk. He's such a genuine bloke, and you've also ruined his trust in the team and his fandom of the team as well, because you've made this decision that it's, like I said, mate, there's never going to be enough time in the day to really talk about it fully, but
yeah. So what else was I going to say? I don't know. It's gone now. I think we've pretty much covered this one anyway, mate. I think, but who knows if we'll see Nico Harrison in the league again in some capacity. Never say never. I think it's a pretty apt way of ending it, I think, mate.
Well, I think, we should find him in prison with the people that we're about to speak about, mate. That's where we should find him.
Lovely transition there, mate. Very good. Yes. As we move on to our next topic, it's a show of scandal this week, guys. The NBA betting scandal is ongoing. There have been several arrests, including one NBA player and at least, one head coach and one assistant coach so far. Who knows how far the rabbit hole goes? There have been certain other players and certain games mentioned, and some illegal poker games going on involving some. I can't say the M word because Jordan won't let me, so we'll call them crime syndicates, crime families, or whatever you want to say they are. So I think we wanted to touch on this one, George. So what are your thoughts? Were you shocked when you heard the news, or was it, everybody, surely this has been going on for a while, or what are your thoughts, dude?
The only shocking thing about this whole thing, Matt, is that they've actually been caught. That's the only shocking thing. These kind of shenanigans go on in every major sports league known to man. There is some aspect or some percentage of it that is corrupt.
Right. So
take football for example, and FIFA and Sepp Blatter.
Yeah,
he got done for corruption. That was the most surprising thing, was that he actually got caught for it. Mm-hmm. Every league in the world, Premier League, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, every single league has got an aspect of corruption within its ranks. Mm-hmm. The only surprising thing is that these actually got found out and arrested and everything else for it. But the NBA's got everything in common with those other leagues, despite the fact that someone's actually been caught, and that is that they have a habit of blasting gambling advertisements and slogans and sponsorships all over the league. Every stadium you go in, every team that you look at, they are all affiliated with gambling. ESPN, Red Zone, every single time, right? So they before Red Zone starts, for 5 minutes, they have got a board up with the odds for every team.
Yep.
And then when it approaches the late window, and the 9 p.m. 9 p.m. our time, but the late window NFL games start.
Yep.
They bring up a spreadsheet again from DraftKings that has got the odds or the people that they think are going to get touchdowns in the game with their odds.
Yep.
And then the money lines for each game.
Mm-hmm.
It is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. So this is very much like, you've shoveled it out to the masses. You can't then be in a position to punish your own players for engaging in that same activity that you are so happy, clearly, just based on their actions, to advertise and shove down everyone's throats. It's a mess of their own making. And Adam Silver was one of the main people that was advocating for legalized gambling.
Yep.
You are now dealing with the consequences of that because it is, and this is the same reason that every other sports league around the globe that is not based in America has such an issue with gambling on sports, because it opens the door for this kind of activity to happen. You've made your beds, you line it, and the NBA will not be the last one that is going to end up going through this. I think the NFL are the next. They are definitely going to be looking at the NFL and the MLB. NHL, it's not as big of a problem, but it still exists in the NHL. But I think the MLB, the NFL especially, and the MLB are going to be next up on the list for. There's some problems here because some things have gone on with some strange betting patterns. And at the minute, all you've got is Jonte Porter, Chauncey Billups, that assistant that I can't remember the name of, and Terry Rozier.
Yep.
That is the tip of the iceberg. Like the tiniest little, like you've put a chisel in the top of the iceberg and a little bit of snow's come out. Yeah. That is the level we're working at the moment. You have still got a long way to go. And it's just, I don't think people are ready to see how deep this really goes. And the only thing that is saving the NFL is that Trump is on pretty good terms with Roger Goodell and with the NFL. I mean, I was in the car the other day watching Red Zone on the way back from London, and Trump just turns up in this in this studio with the Commanders game. I can't remember who they were playing. I was like, what is Trump doing there? He's very friendly with Pat McAfee, with Roger Goodell, with loads of people. So they're not really going to get touched by the FBI because he is almighty, isn't he? He's the big bad Donald that is the overseer of all of these processes and things. He's not a fan of the NBA. He's not a fan of Adam Silver. So they've been targeted first. But I can bet you can bet your life when Trump's term finishes, and this investigation is still ongoing, which it will be, because it's going to be a very long, drawn-out process. Whoever then gets in as the FBI director, which will not be Kash Patel, because he shouldn't be doing the job, because he's so underqualified, it is a joke. Someone else will then become FBI director, and they're going to inherit this investigation into the NBA, and they're going to think, well, hang on a minute, how come we're only going after the NBA? And they're going to start widening it, and then it will start affecting different leagues. I think the NFL are probably the most pro. I don't know what you think, Matt, but I think they're the most pro-gambling sports league in the world. You take football, as in not American football, but normal football, and sponsorships are blasted over the front of every team's shirt and things like that. Even they don't seem to be as pro-gambling as the NFL is, because the NFL is the only league I know of that will literally tell you the odds just as they're about to play.
Yeah.
And they will give you hints almost as if, you should bet on him to have a touchdown because he's been on a really good streak, and here's all the stats and here's the odds for him to get a touchdown. There's no other league.
Well, the NBA only the NBA only started introducing this probably 3 or 4 years ago. They were always against it. Like you said, it's Silver who's definitely pushed the betting. That, like you say, as soon as the commentary starts back for the second half, they're showing you the second half lines, aren't they? In NBA games, this is actually what's happening now, isn't it? It's that's how
I think that's the other thing, because it's like, his argument was that it will push it all above ground and we'll be able to see everything that's going on. It'll stop the, what's the word? Well, it'll
keeps
stop
it regulated, maybe.
Yeah, it keeps it regulated. We can check in on what they're doing. Yeah, but the issue that you've got with that, Adam Silver, is that you now have a very ugly truth that's facing you square in. It is square in the face that this is what's going on, and you now have to address it. Whereas you could ignore it and just sweep it under the carpet and forget that it was happening. You are now in a position where you have to now deal with it because you've brought all this up. So you now have to deal with it, and I don't want to say they're incapable of dealing with it, but he's not set his stall out very well because he's been all for like all the sort of commentary from him has been he's all for this. This is a good thing, without addressing what could go wrong with it. And now something has gone wrong with it, and it has been radio silence. I know they had that big thing on the 30th. Was it the 1st of November or the 31st or Halloween? Where they had to give some sort of statement. Again, that's not them making that decision. That's the FBI saying you have to give us something by this date.
Yeah.
So apart from that, it's been radio silence from them. They've not come out and they've not said, "Oh, this is not right," but complete silence. And silence is deafening sometimes, mate. And I think this is one of those occasions.
Yeah, I think Silver's got his hands full, mate, with this one. And this is not his only scandal, is it, of the summer? It's something to do with the Clippers as well in the summer, which was another thing that they've got to deal with as well. So I think Silver's had it quite good, when he first took over. But now he's the issues are starting to pile up, and I don't know whether that's or do people respect him enough to stay in line and not do these things? I really just couldn't see this happening under David Stern. I feel like he kind of ruled a lot with fear over anything, and I just wonder whether Silver is maybe too player friendly or too owner friendly that they feel like they can get away with these things. But obviously, like you say, now the FBI is involved. This isn't something you can sweep under the rug. So this is something that's gonna drag on. So the scandal, as I see it, is it involves Tony Rozier, which he allegedly told people that he wasn't going to be playing in second half. Therefore, bet the under on second half markets for him. It seems like the most ones where it can be manipulated is your player performance, because that's what happened to Parker last year. So that's something as concerning that it's kind of happened again. Not a good look for Charlotte. Seeing Rozier in court in handcuffs, wearing his Charlotte Hornets gear. That's definitely not a good look for them. It's not a good look for the NBA in general. The next
the thing is, mate, about Rozier's wearing of the Hornets merch. I don't know if you knew this. That was AI.
Oh, was it really?
It was, yes. I didn't know that at first, but then a couple of days later, I saw it. That was not actually how he went to court.
Right.
It did look like that, but then, and I genuinely, because it does look legit. It genuinely does look like that's what he wore to court. But no, apparently that was AI.
I thought he got arrested at practice, so it all kind of held true, really, to me. But
it does, until you remember that he got traded to the Miami Heat, and then you're thinking, well, if he got traded to the Heat, why would he be wearing Hornets? So
tough one. But do your research, guys. Do your research. There's Damian Jones as well, an assistant who told people to bet on the Bucks. Because LeBron James wasn't going to be playing, and people weren't aware that LeBron wasn't playing yet. So he was telling his mates to bet big on the Bucks. So that's a tough one. Not really much you can say about that. I don't think there's much defense you can say if they've got the text messages. Then he hasn't really got a leg to stand on there, Joe, does he?
Well, no, but I think at the same time, that's a complete violation of your trust. That goes, all right, fair enough. It's immoral enough for the own player to decide that they're gonna throw the rest of the game.
Yeah,
but you are giving out privileged information.
Yeah.
About someone else that would definitely not want it to be in those circles. Why the fuck would LeBron James want gamblers knowing that he's injured?
Well, because
It's a
but if
complete
LeBron doesn't,
violation of someone's trust and privacy.
well, yeah. Plus, the if LeBron's not playing, the betting lines would adjust accordingly. So you're getting on before the lines are adjusted. So that's where your kind of violations coming in. You know that information before the gambling companies know. So it might switch it from there being favourite to being underdog because LeBron's not playing and things like that. So yeah, it's all about it's the kind of manipulation, isn't it? That
I think that's the key word, though, mate, isn't it? It's privileged information. Like people seem to have forgot what the word privileged means. It means that you are lucky, or you're that trusted that you can know this information. For you then to turn around and sell this to some dodgy bloke sat in a restaurant having a coffee and a fag, to just give this information out willy-nilly about people is just so wrong. I can't even tell. It goes beyond just it being a betting scandal. Like, that is so wrong for you to give that information out. Who the hell do you think you are? Like, you are one of maybe 10. Like, if you're a trainer on a team, you're one of maybe 5 or 6 people that know that information, and the only reason that you know it is because, one, you're lucky enough to be in the job that you are in to know this information, and 2, because you are trusted by the team and by the players to do that job. It's just it's so violating to the players, and I mean, I think we've had the conversation, haven't we, before, bro? Like, you'd be hard pressed to feel sorry for someone who's got hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank. But but things like this just reminds you that you can still feel sympathetic towards very, very wealthy people. Because what if this was happening to you? That would, to say that would boil my blood is an understatement.
Yeah,
you have got no right to be selling information about other people like that. That is so disgusting. And I think he is they're all bad that are involved in the scandal. But that trainer, he's lower than low. That is the lowest that you can go for me, mate. I don't know what you think, but that is as low as it can get.
Yeah, I mean, the worry is, like you've said, bro, is the more and more you dig into this, the more and more is this happening all over the league. And if you silver, you don't want that getting out, do you? You don't want a league-wide scandal. I can imagine that it goes on every day, mate. Somebody says, "Oh, he's not playing tonight, mate." Just message somebody casually, "Oh, he's not playing tonight, mate." They don't know that yet. Could you see it being a league-wide thing?
So Kieran Trippier, he's right back, formerly of Spurs and Atletico Madrid, plays for Newcastle, for those who aren't aware. His brother put 50 grand or 60 grand, which may or may not have been Kieran Trippier's own money, on him to sign for Atletico Madrid. This was it was a bet it was Star Sports, which are a gambling company in the UK that are equipped, shall we say, to cover large bets. So not like a £5 on an acca or a £10 on an acca or something like that. Like, talking serious cash money. They took him up on the offer because they didn't know who he was. They were just like, I want to put £50,000 on Kieran Trippier to move to Atletico Madrid. Now, at the time, Trippier had already agreed everything with Atletico that he was going to go and play for them. But the bookies weren't aware of that information, and he was, I think it was like 6 or 7 to 1 to sign for Atletico Madrid. So he put 50 grand on a 7 to 1 bet that, to the surprise of nobody, came in because he had the access to that information. Now, that very much seemed like an isolated incident. I've not heard of anything like that since. But it just goes to show that this can be the way that the gambling rules are, and the amount of things that you can bet on. You can watch an NBA game. You can bet on rebounds, points, assists, 3-pointers, turnovers, steals, how many 3-pointers a team's going to make, unders and overs, how many assists the team's going to make, whether it's going to go to overtime, how many fouls are going to get called in the game. Like, it is so wide ranging that there can be a level of corruption without it actually damaging the actual sport that you see.
Yeah.
So without it damaging the product, you can still bend the rules and move things around. And, you know, like I was saying with Trippier's transfer £50,000 bet, that's a very, like, obscure market that doesn't really impact anyone either way. Yes, it impacts the betting company or the sport. But it doesn't impact it doesn't impact football. It doesn't impact the sport. It doesn't bring the sport really into dispute, especially if it's kept quiet and it's dealt with outside of the courtrooms and things like that. It doesn't really bring it into dispute. But who's at fault here, Matt? That's the question. Is it the gambling companies for offering such wide-ranging things that you can bet on? Is it Adam Silver for advertising this as a really good thing and that there's no problems with it and being completely tone deaf in terms of the fact that this will open it up for corruption? Or is it just solely on the players and the coaches that are involved? That's the question that needs asking.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are calling for these player performance markets to be abolished because they're so open to manipulation, aren't they? If you're betting on a team to win or the totals, there are so many attributes that go into the outcome of that, isn't there? But one player performance, you only need one person to be able to, you know, manipulate that market. So I think a lot of people are calling for the players' performance markets to be abolished. I don't see that happening. I think there's too much money involved. I'd be very surprised if they cut that market away because I can imagine so many people bet on it, dude.
I mean, Matt, you know, I like a few quid here and there, mate, on a bet. You know, I'm very akin to having an ACCA and, you know, having, you know, whether it be, especially this season in the NFL, having someone to get over a certain amount of receiving or rushing yards or a touchdown, or, you know, quarterbacks to throw a certain amount of touchdowns. And same with the NBA. I will often have, like, you know, Jalen Brown to score over 25 points and B to get over 10 rebounds, that sort of thing. And I will put it in an ACCA, and then it makes it more enjoyable for me. I can watch it, and I'm invested then in that game.
Sure.
And when enjoyed responsibly, gambling can be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think there's not really any quivering with that. However, the main thing that always gets my back up is that over in the UK, if you watch football or you watch anything on Sky Sports, for example, or TNT Sports, at the end of all these adverts that come up on TV, there's a reminder that, you know, when the fun stops, stop, or something like that. Some reminder that it's not always good, and sometimes you know, you can get yourself into debt, or you can spend beyond your means because you're chasing that win.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything when I've been watching anything stateside that has had that sort of reminder that it is addictive and you need to be careful. You need to do it in moderation. Never happens. The amount of people on YouTube, you know, NFL, NBA channels, or any other channel for that matter, that has got a gambling sponsor, they will never say, or it might just be, "Oh, just remember to gamble responsibly," as a passing comment.
Yeah,
that's also a problem that they've not addressed, is because I frequently see on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, people putting out betting lines, and they're like, "Oh, you know," and they've got like $500 on it. I'm like, why on earth are you betting 500? You never see, if it's in pounds sterling and it's a British guy that's put it on, it's always like 10 quid, 20 quid, 40 at the absolute most.
Yeah.
I'm seeing stuff in the US where it's like $500 on a bet. And I'm like, this is not normal behaviour. And and I think this is more to the point, mate, with, like, you know, with the NBA and the NFL and stuff like that. They're clearly putting a lot more money on per person per bet than we do over here. So that just means it's even more open to exploitation.
Yeah. Well, you know, like how
put so much more money on.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You know, like how a lot of people in the UK, they only bet on a Saturday and they'll pick 12 teams and they'll put a quid on it to win. You know, however, I mean, people do it, mate. You know, they bet on the horses. They'll pick 6 horses and they'll bet 25p. You know, lucky or
Lucky 50
six hole,
or
or lucky 63 or whatever, But in the US, they kind of bet like, I'll pick two teams and I'll bet big. I'll pick two teams to win, and then I'm betting big on those teams. That's how the US bet. They bet very differently than it's definitely different than the UK do. They'll pick three teams who they're really happy with and get to about even money, but they'll bet big on those three. So they bet very differently. But in terms of messaging and things like that, I know like in the marketing stuff, each state's different because each state has got a different gambling license. So it's like having a different country. So each one has different rules, and there's different statements that certain has to send. If you're from North Carolina, than it does if you're from Missouri or Virginia, or it differs. It depends. New Jersey, there's about 12 states now in the US that's legalized gambling, and it's going up all the time, bro.
I know. So I know. For example, in New Jersey, they have a cap on the amount of money that you can deposit per month.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, for people who aren't gamblers or they don't have like any betting accounts or anything like that, you can set deposit limits in the UK. I've got one myself on 365. I've got a deposit limit.
Mm-hmm.
Just so I don't get me wrong, I never hit the limit, but it's just there in case I'm having a few drinks and I think for some stupid reason, get a bit carried away, and I think I'm going to put loads of money on this to happen. It just keeps you in check, and it keeps you. It's like self-regulation.
Yeah, cool.
New Jersey is the only state in the US that has got that in law. It's statute law that you cannot deposit more than I don't know what the actual limit is, but it has to be below a certain amount every month. If you go over it, you therefore you can't put the bet on, and if the gambling company accept the bet, they are breaking federal gambling laws.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me laugh is how have we got federal gambling laws for something like that when only 12 states do it and there's nothing centralised and things like that? And I know this is going to we risk running into the political world, Matt, I think, if we talk about this more. But how can we have a situation where there are federal, which is, again, for anyone who's not sure how things work over stateside, there's state laws and there's federal laws. The state laws are governed and given out by the state. So whether that be Georgia, Hawaii, New York, wherever it is, that's their own laws. And it doesn't apply if you lived in Maryland, for example. But federal laws are set out by the government and every state has to follow them. How can you have something that is illegal in one state, but you can do it in the next state, but only with certain restrictions put in place by the federal law, even though that doesn't apply next door? Because even if you put 1p on in, I don't know, West Virginia, for example, where it's not legal, how can you could be put in prison for putting a bet on there, but next you jump up to New Jersey and you put 50 quid on something, it's absolutely fine. It's like I said, we risk running into the political landscape with it, but I think that's just it's so bizarre to me how it's only legal in a few states, and you've got major states like Texas, which I think that's the most surprising one of all places. I can't believe Texas it's illegal to gamble in Texas of all places.
It'll come, mate. It'll come. Won't be long.
And I think Florida's another one where it's illegal. And I just think they're two massive players in the US sort of world of politics, where Florida and Texas that seem to you can do anything in Florida and Texas apart from gamble, and it's just
do anything in Texas. There's no rules.
Honestly, it feels as an outsider looking in, and if someone is from Texas and this offends them, I'm very sorry. But it certainly seems as an outsider that you can literally do anything in Texas without getting punished for it, but you can't gamble.
I mean, yeah, it's the one thing they've got left. Maybe who knows? But yeah, it's a big market, bro, isn't it? It's a big market.
And it's growing all the time, mate. Like you said,
absolutely,
it is growing all the time. So
absolutely, yeah, it's a big revenue stream, that's for sure. So, Silver's got his hands full. Also, he's got to deal with this illegal poker game that apparently Chauncey Billups was a cheating poker game as well, and kind of frauding people out of money, and it's a big mess that he's got to deal with now, man. I mean, I don't know where you start. It sounds like people's phones are being requested, aren't they? I think it was Tom Brady in the Deflategate. His phone kind of went missing, didn't it? I think, or something.
Yeah, convenient.
Phones aren't going to start going missing, are they now, George? I think it's a lot of NBA players' phones are going to be like, getting lit on fire or something. I don't know, but there's always the cloud, isn't there? You got to start deleting some files or something. You got to think, everybody talks. I can imagine the players talk amongst themselves and things, and are the things that you don't want made public, and it could be a big mess, mate, couldn't it? There's potential to be really, really sticky, isn't it?
It is, but like I said at the start, mate. This is realistically, this is a mess of Adam Silver's own making. Like he was the motion driver, the signal caller for all this to happen, and it's like now you're seeing the other side of it because you were so adamant that this was a can't fail sort of exercise, and now it's failed dramatically. Yeah, how are you going to get out of this one?
Well, maybe he was pushed by the owners. Maybe it wasn't Silver's idea. You don't know, do you? He's obviously the commissioner and things, and is he being leaned on by the owners to embrace it? But like you say, usually when these things get brought in, it's very difficult to reverse it, isn't it? And to remove it. So I don't know how it's going to end, mate. And at some point, Silver don't want them to go too deep. These guys. Is Billups ever going to be able to coach in the league again? He's on indefinite leave now, isn't he? If he gets found guilty of this, is it bringing the league into disrepute, poor, public image? It could be. I would
say with Billups, it absolutely is putting the league into disrepute. You've got a head coach there that is complicit in rigged poker games. That is very much putting the league into this. If that's not putting the league into disrepute, I don't know what is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then there's others words about other people who were there. Perhaps Ty Lue was there, apparently. So there's another coach, and it could be league wide, and obviously LeBron's mentioned in it.
The one thing I would say about Chauncey, and I think this is very important to factor in.
Yeah,
is that people are there's a quite a large number of people that were involved to varying degrees with these rigged poker games, and they did say the vast majority of people that were working these events, I'm talking like bar staff, waiters and waitresses and things that were working on these events, they had no idea that they were rigged. No. It may well, and I think this is the key thing is that the Blazers have not sacked Chauncey Billups. They've not fired him.
No.
Whether that's them being careful, because if he's not found guilty, he could throw a large lawsuit at them and say he's been sacked, wrongful dismissal.
Yeah.
But it also could be because that is the weakest one, and there is a good possibility, and this is a genuine chance that he genuinely had no idea these games were rigged. He was paid a set fee to turn up to run some of these events, and he had no idea that they were bent. And that could be true. It might not be, but that could be true.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, with like Terry Rozier, and we spoke about this ages ago. I think it was halfway through last season, Matt, when this all surfaced. And Silver came out and said about Rozier that he's got no case to answer. Well, clearly he did, because he's got a federal indictment sat there waiting to be served. So how can you come out and say he's got no case to answer when he's got a very big case to answer?
This isn't Rozier's first rodeo, is it? They've got Beasley as well from last year as well, man.
According to we forgot about that one actually.
He was a few months ago, wasn't it? So he hasn't started the season for Detroit. I'm not really sure if he's a Pistons player or not, to be honest. But
it's like with Cash Patel. It's like, well, you've you've got all this evidence ready about Terry Rozier. You've told the NBA, because apparently this is what they did first. They actually told them privately that this was what was going on.
Yeah.
This was not the FBI being nice. This was just them saying, you better comply, otherwise you'll be breaching federal laws, and you better comply.
Mm-hmm.
And they told him that more or less the allegations that were being made against Terry Rozier. And at the time they had, limited evidence, but they had some evidence, and that they'd be expanding their inquiries. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, Adam Silver decided, I'm going to tell everyone that everything's fine then. Even though it clearly wasn't. And it's another situation where he's made his bed, he's going to have to lie in it now. And the best thing, it's all well and good you being silent now and not saying anything. You actually should have been silent when you were dealing with the Terry Rozier situation, and you weren't. And it just seems like a big old mess, mate, really. That's an understatement. It's more than a big old mess, but I think the league and Adam Silver, they've not helped themselves with how they've conducted things so far, and they just seem to live in this fantasy land where they think everything's going to be fine. And this is not like a slap on the wrist, like, it's a misdemeanor, don't do that again, that was naughty. This is very much federal charges. These are like, they're indictable offences.
Well, they said this isn't thousands of dollars, this is millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking, like you say, the odd tenner here or there, is it? This is a lot of money that's being talked about, isn't it? So that like you say, it's you're talking prison time, and this is a big deal, isn't it?
Well, I think they're going after Terry Rozier for some federal gambling law thing, but they're also going after him for wire fraud. Now, wire fraud carries an exceptionally large criminal penalty for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who ran Silk Road. So Silk Road was this. It was an online. I've watched loads of documentaries about it. It's really interesting. It was an online thing on the dark web where you could access it through Tor, so the Onion router, and you could buy everything. Literally everything you could buy on this place. This was like Amazon, but if you could buy anything on it. So there were drugs, guns, hitmen, all sorts of things offered and available on this website. Quite a lot of it was a scam. There were just people that were looking to make a quick buck and then leave.
Yeah.
But it was very much like an online drug market. And the guy who ran that, he got done for wire fraud. That was the sort of, there were other things. There was like, accessory to murder and things like that he got 25, 30 years. For wire fraud, he got sentenced to 108 years in prison just for wire fraud on its own. Now, he got pardoned by the Donald Trump. So he's now out and about doing his own thing. But 108 years just for wire fraud.
It's it's a big deal, isn't it? That's a big deal.
So, and this is what I mean. You're talking a life behind bars, and then when you die, you're going to have to come back and serve the rest of your sentence.
Yeah. It's 2 lifetimes.
That's the level that we're dealing with these offences.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously, with the context and everything else, obviously, Terry Rozier, as far as we know, hasn't got some secretive dark web website where he's selling all these things, but the most severe sort of example that you can think of for wire fraud is over 100 years in prison.
Yeah.
For something like this, could easily be 10, 15, 20 years.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So we'll see, but yeah, bro, it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good for Scary Terry.
Definitely not. Yeah, he'll be scared soon, mate, if he gets 10, 15 years, he will. But it's not going to be a quick fix, bro, and it's going to be a long process for this one. So I don't see us seeing Chauncey Billups on the sidelines this season. That's for sure. So even if he's cleared of everything, I'd be surprised. The FBI don't work that quick, do they?
I don't know.
We'll soon find out then.
We'll soon see, mate. Yeah.
We'll soon see. But right, I think that's all we've got time for, bro. But is there anything else you want to add, bro, before we head out?
I think that's it, bro. That's it. Still bleeding green despite everything else.
always. Even through the bad times and the good times, eh, mate? That's it. But
It's where your loyalty's tested as a fan. It's you know, are you gonna still be there when the chips are down?
Absolutely, mate. Makes the good times even sweeter, doesn't it? So
absolutely.
But it's a pleasure to have you on again, bro. Do you want to let people know where they can find you on the socials before we head out?
Yes, absolutely, mate. Thank you once again for having me. A pleasure to be here, mate, as always. And you can find me JM Will Dub, as you can see on Instagram, or you can find me at JMA Dub on Twitter, X, whatever people are calling it these days. But yeah, thanks for having me again, bro. It's been a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure. So I'm Matt at PostUp323. So you'll be able to rewatch this on YouTube or also in podcast form on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep an eye out, guys, on Shooters Lounge 3 on the socials. I'll tell you when this podcast is available to download. So we'll be back again in a couple of weeks, guys, with another guest. Might be Jordan returning again. Who knows, guys? See how well the Celtics are doing in a couple of weeks, and they'll be back. So, but thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.